It likes to have the group together today for day one of camp.
Yeah, it was good energy, Lindsay. Like I said, this group's had a really good approach to the off season, and today the level was high out there, and the guys practiced hard, and now we'll finish it out tomorrow.
To have Austin back in the fold, what's it mean? Just everything was able to work out, obviously, but then to get him out here today.
Yeah, Lindsay, Austin's just how he always is. He's so consistent. He hasn't been here, and you're wondering what's going on, and then he comes out here and he just lights it up. He's just in such great shape. He's such a professional and on top of his assignments. So we all know who Austin Ekeler is, but you never take it for granted because he showed up and was great to see him today.
JT Woods, how do you feel like he's progressed during OTAs, now minicamp?
Yeah, Fernando, we're going to find out a lot more about him when the pads come on. He's had a good offseason. He's working hard. He's definitely improved his body, become the professional that we expect him to be. But we're going to find out a lot more during training camp. But we love working with him for sure.
Just with JT, how much did you guys see him grow during practice last year? Because obviously we're not there, we can't see it. So we saw him in training camp, and then we saw him in that one game in Atlanta or Arizona. So
yeah.
What did you guys see in practice that maybe gave you confidence in the role that he's starting to carve out here for this season?
Yeah, all the things that we saw from college, he still possesses all those things that we really liked about him. And I know that when we drafted him, we really saw him as a developmental player, that there was a lot in his game. Track was a big part of his equation in college. And so from a developmental standpoint, we knew there was a lot of work to do, but that he had a lot of the traits, both physically and mentally, that you like to work with. And I think all those were on display last year. And he was able to get in the game some and get that experience. But more importantly, that you got a full year's worth of practice. And I think that's as beneficial as anything. And like I said, I think this preseason is going to be really big for him, get a lot of work, a lot of reps out there. And I think we'll find a lot more about his growth in training camp.
You mentioned that when Pat's combined with him, what will you need to see then once training camp shows up?
No, you want a complete safety back there. You want a guy that can run the show, that has full command. You want a guy that is going to be a really good key diagnosed player, somebody that can trigger in the run game and then, show range in the passing game. We know that that's the strength of him, is playing in the deep part of the field. Just the range and the ball skills. And then, we know that he can cover well enough in the slot. So just looking improvement in all ways for him. But we really like working with him. He's worked really hard on his body in terms of, getting to the right weight that you need to play at in order to be able to play against these good players that you got to tackle and get on the ground. And again, I'm excited to coach him in training camp.
Saw him out there today, but where would you assess JC is with his recovery?
He's progressing. He's been working really hard, and this summer will be important for him.
Do you anticipate when training camp opens that he'll be ready to go, or is that just going to still be easing him into things?
I think that the summer is going to tell a lot about his ability to be full go for training camp.
And then just where he is as far as fitting into the defense and understanding the defense, a little uneven when he got hurt last season. How much do you anticipate that just kind of getting involved in your scheme and knowing where he's supposed to be, that'll kind of have picked up?
Yeah, Lindsay, it's important. It's an important point you bring up, because when you transition these players from other teams, it's a big aspect. He's doing the job that he's done his whole career in terms of covering the number one receivers. That's what we brought him here to do. And so fundamentally, we're asking him to do the things that he's done his whole career, just it's with us. And so I think it's just getting that comfort zone of being around the guys that you play with. It's not an individual sport. I think that, people underestimate the transition for players because it's much more challenging in football to transition to a new team. And I think you've seen it with quarterbacks that have transitioned to new teams. And so he is the player, that we signed. We know that. And I'm confident in training camp, once he gets to working with his teammates, that he'll be able to showcase, the real player that he is.
Are you surprised physically where he's at right now?
No, he's engineered differently. So, fully expect for him to be out there, playing his game at some point this fall.
We've yet to see Josh Palmer out there. We've seen him on the field, but yet to see him participate. Where is he at, and what's going on with him, and do you expect him to be ready for training camp?
Yeah, if any of our guys aren't out there, it's just, for something minor in nature, and you'll get to see him in training camp.
Brandon, is there, any kind of update on Justin Herbert's contract situation?
No, ongoing.
And then during the break, are are you hopeful that you'll get a phone call at some point between now and training camp, or that deal's done?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful, confident, but it'll happen when it's supposed to happen.